Hello everyone, welcome live to 3YT for tonight's broadcast of the Total Nonstop Racing Thornton Graphix Cup. I'm Peter Short, and joining me in the booth here tonight is Bob Giaquinto. And Bob, we're at the Nashville Fairgrounds here tonight, and I'll tell you what, it is going to be a very interesting time here. Short track action, and of course, the start of the Thornton Graphix chase for the Cup.
Absolutely, Peter, and this is going to be one of those tracks. It's a narrow track, but it's action-packed. There's going to be great racing all over, and especially now with the start of the chase for the championship, there are 11 drivers who are in the Thornton Graphix Cup chase for the championship, and some very, very talented guys here as well. So this is going to be a fun race and a fun last few weeks here of the 2021 A season here in the Total Nonstop Racing League.
Yeah, it absolutely will. A lot of new faces as well here tonight. And, of course, those chase drivers that we'll be watching here tonight, Ben Izenga, James Lorello, Jason Freeman, Chris Darling, Stephen Kegman, Jason Gracia, Spencer Tart, Bill Edwards, Mike Floppy Tellier, Andrew Himmelman, and Tristan Mayer. So a lot of drivers out there on the racetrack trying to go for the championship. One of those drivers is that number 98 machine. You see him right there with a green spoiler on the back. If you see that bright green spoiler, that indicates that one of those drivers is in the hunt for the Thornton Graphix Cup here tonight at the Nashville Fairgrounds. But a couple of those new names, Nick Cohan, Anthony DeBarro atop the board, Timothy Johnson, another new name. 1, 2, 3 right now. James Arello there sitting in fourth, and Spencer Tart rounding out your top five. But this could be a very interesting night here, Bob, with new faces entering the game extremely late for the final 5 rounds of the season.
Yeah, for sure, and that's going to be interesting as well because a lot of these drivers haven't raced against the rest of the drivers here in the Total Nonstop Racing League. So it's going to be really interesting to figure out their driving style, as well as trying to race your own race and trying to keep an eye out on the new guys in the league because, Peter, let's face it, a lot of new guys coming in, first race of the playoffs, and, this could definitely lead to some tense moments as this race goes on.
Yeah, absolutely. Green flag going to wave here on the 5-minute qualifying session. So we'll get to see who will sit on the pole here tonight. We're keeping our eyes here on the number 28 machine of Tim Johnston as he rolls out onto the racetrack in the USAA Toyota Supra. Just one of the new faces you'll see here tonight. There's the number 6 Sim Shots machine. Very fast in practice, but going around right there, that's Andrew Himmelman having a little bit of a problem. There's the number 70 Max Graphics machine, Christopher Darling. He's right up against the wall, going to see if he can swing that down to the bottom side of the racetrack to get his first qualifying lap time in right here. New fastest lap time, another new name. That's Nick Chambrone in his machine, and Bill Edwards in the number 50 just going to top off the top of the charts there for a quick second before Anthony DeBarro picking up where he was in practice near the top of the charts in the number 27 Supra.
Yeah, Peter, these times coming in fast and furious, a 19.26 right now on the pole. That's Shane Ewing provisionally. And, this is a very quick track to get around here at this Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. So, a lot of action going on tonight and some pretty quick laps getting laid down by these drivers right now.
Yeah, you can see those times down there at the bottom of the screen rolling in and where those drivers are placed. Stephen Kegman there, one of the chase drivers. He's going to be scored 11th right now. You look, Tim Johnson there rolling down onto pit road. What about Philip Scott in the number 99 machine? Ooh, problems. Looks like he had to take a tow back to pit road. There's Johnny Williams in the number 15 machine in the Master Millwright Ford Mustang. Big shout out to Master Millwright, one of the series sponsors. Here's Josh Gerlach in the number 71. He's currently being scored down in the 18th position after picking it up a little bit on lap number 2. James Lorello trying to pick it up on his second lap here in the number 13 machine. One of your chase drivers was up near the top of the charts there in practice, but unable to back that up here in qualifying session. But as I say that, he proves me wrong. Goes second on the board. I just had to open my mouth, didn't I, Bob?
Right, well, hey, sometimes the broadcaster's curse is a good thing as well as, the bad things that we've often cursed upon some of the other drivers here. But this is one of those races where literally anything can happen. James Lorello just laid down a lap that is less than 1/10 of a second behind that 28 machine of Timothy Johnson. And Peter, just coming into this race, looking at some of the iRating of these new drivers coming in, very, very talented drivers. A couple guys in the 4,000s and 5,000s, which is very high and very talented, according to the iRacing iRating system. So, a lot of new guys coming in, a lot of talent coming in as well for this chase period. So this is going to be a fun race for sure.
We keep our eyes here on the number 97 machine of Mike Floppy Tellier working his way onto the front stretch here. Where is he going to jump up on the board in the number 97 machine? Third on the board on lap number 1 for the Canadian driver. And he says, you know what? One and done it is. He just jumps off the racetrack just like that. Looks like every driver who has elected to go out there onto the racetrack has put in a lap time. We've yet to see Jason Shue, Garrett Gleason, Brian Rubel, Gail Brooks, Chad Cole, or Don Runkle Jr. Those 6 drivers yet to put in a lap time down at the bottom of the board. But I gotta say, what a field here tonight, Bob. We're closing in on the end of the season, just 5 races left, and we have practically the biggest field we've had all year.
Yeah, for sure. And this is going to be some great racing. And the racing really has been fast-paced and really competitive all season long. But on top of that, it's been clean racing as well. A couple stutters, just coming out of the gate with with the second race of the season. But aside from that, this has been some fantastic racing that we've been treated to all season long. And, this just kind of all coming to a head here with the Thornton Graphix chase for the championship.
Absolutely. Well, while we watch Tristan Mayer turn a few extra practice laps here to round out this qualifying session, let's look over at the chat. Vincent Valvano is under the weather and will be missing tonight's race. Wish you well, Vinny. Hopefully you can get back out here very, very quickly for next week's race. Also in the chat here tonight, we got Tina Himmelman, as always. Johnny Williams saying, somehow I ended up in the number 19 tonight instead of the number 15. And looks like Tactical asking, what is going on? Well, Total Nonstop Racing League action. Thornton Graphix Grand National Series right here. Round number 12, Nashville Fairgrounds. Race number 1 of the chase for the Thornton Graphix Cup. And we got cars out there gridding here, Bob. So let's see if we can bring up those results from the qualifying session here just a moment ago. And it was a fantastic lap for, well, it looks like Bill Edwards is on the pole, but let's go up. There we go. Tim Johnson in his number 28 machine. Dizzy Motorsports will be starting on the pole with a 19.109. James Orello in second. Mike Floppy Tellier in third. Spencer Tart will be rolling off fourth. Shane Ewing will be rolling off from fifth. David Harvey in sixth. Anthony DeBarro seventh. Definitely very, very fast. We'll watch him slice his way up to the front, I'm sure, at some point tonight. Jason Gracias, Andrew Himmelman, and Ben Eisenga rounding out the top 10 there, Bob.
Starting in 11th, the 50 machine of Bill Edwards. On his outside, the 21 of Nick Cohan. Jason Freeman, one of our chase drivers, starting off in 13th. Steve Kegman, another chaser, in 14th. Chris Darling, 15th. Philip Scott, 16th. Chris Gibeau in 17th. Nick Chimbrone in 18th. Tristan Maher, 19th. And in 20th, the 71 machine of Josh Gerlach.
Johnny Williams, Tony Lucarelli will make up row number 11, while Chad Cole, Gail Brooks on row 12. Garrett Gleason and Brian Rubel on row number 13, while Jason Shue and Don Runkle Jr. round out your 28-car field. We'll see whether or not all 28 cars make the grid or not here tonight. This is definitely going to be a very exciting race, but it is the number 28 machine there of Tim Johnston, who will be starting on the pole here tonight with Lorello alongside him. I'm really excited to see how these battles work out all night long with some of these new faces out there, slicing and dicing it up with the drivers with that green rear spoiler that you will see those drivers competing for Thornton Graphix Cup here in the Grand National Series. 11 drivers to keep your eye on here tonight. Ben Eisenga, James Lorello, Jason Freeman, Christopher Darling, Stephen Kegman, Jason Gracia, Spencer Tart, Bill Edwards, Mike Floppy Tellier, Andrew Himmelman, and Tristan Maher, all vying for that championship over the next 5 weeks. We got a road course in there. We got a super speedway in there. There's going to be some action here to watch on 3 Wide TV. We go from Nashville to Atlanta to Watkins Glen to Darlington to Bristol Motor Speedway, rounding out the season on another short track, Bob. It is going to be action-packed here over the next few weeks.
Yeah, for sure. And, it takes all different skill sets to win a race, obviously, in the iRacing service. But, in order to win this championship, not only do you have to be good at short tracks, you have to be good at road courses, super speedways, you have to be lucky as well. We have the 1.5 mile next week at Atlanta as well for an intermediate track. So, this is going to be some really good racing over these next 5 weeks and some strong competitors out there on the racetrack as well.
Yeah, definitely is going to be a fun one. You look at the back of the number 28 machine out the nose of Mike Floppy Tellier's number 97 machine. We are about to go green flag here at Nashville. Coming around turn number 4, green flag in the flagman's hand. And there's the green flag. We're racing at Nashville. Everyone off to a clean start all the way back through the pack. But up at the front, side by side through turn number 1, Tim Johnson on the inside, Lorello on the outside, and that number 13 machine, he's trying to get that solid run. And it looks like that Johnston just didn't quite get the run he needed, especially off into turn number 3, and he's going to drop all the way back to third here, Bob.
Yeah, it looks like the 28 didn't get a good fire off of turn number 2, and still, even off of turn number 4, the previous time by, just could not quite get his tires underneath of him. I'm not sure if he spun the tires coming out of the corner or what, but he just kind of dropped like a rock, and now the 13 and the 78 battle here as they head off into turn number 1.
Yeah, and look at the number 6 machine of Andrew Himmelman. We saw him spin on his first qualifying attempt. He was able to gather it back up for his second qualifying attempt, still able to get up there inside the top 10 with a 9th place starting spot, so good recovery from him. Meanwhile, up at the front of the field, Spencer Tart, the number 78, he's dived to the inside of the number 13 machine. Shane Ewing going to put in the fastest lap as of right now, but halfway down the back stretch, we're side by side for the race lead. Spencer Tart versus James Lorello, 2 drivers vying for the chase for the Thornton Graphix Cup. How many times have we seen this battle here this season, Bob?
God, we've seen it so many times, especially between these 2 drivers. Very talented drivers, Spencer Tart and James Lorello, both clean drivers there, as well as the 78 is going to dive on into turn number 3. He'll have about a car length's lead as he exits turn 4 down the start-finish line. 2 very strong competitors out here, and they've been really dominating this season.
A couple of teammates side by side, Anthony DeBarro and Shane Ewing. Looks like DeBarro will pick up that spot for right now. In fact, it is 3 teammates all together right there, the 28, the 27, and the number 32. We're watching them slowly creep their way up. We talked about how fast DeBarro was there in the practice session, and here he's backing that up, already up 4 positions, Bob, from where he started here tonight. If he's able to get around the number 28 machine, that is, he'll be up 4 positions. Looks like he's going to clear him here. And almost cleared him there coming out of turn number 2. Might go another lap or so to see how this battle all works out. But very, very impressed with that number 27 machine already showing his pace here early on.
Yeah, DeBarro really has quite the rocket ship underneath of him. And last week, TNR did a bit of an exhibition race at Five Flag Speedway, and these new guys really drove well, and they drove clean, and kind of raced really well with the rest of the field. The 21 and the 78 battled pretty much most of the race for the win. So the new guys mixing it up already and doing a good job with it as well.
Yeah, looking a little bit further back in the pack, one of your chase drivers, Tristan Mayer, just passed one of those other chase drivers, the number 22 of Kegman. So moved Kegman back to 19th, moved Mayer up to 18th. But up further ahead, these 2 chase drivers still locked in a battle. Andrew Himmelman and Mike Floppy Tellier, they've been toe-to-toe with one another over the opening 11 laps, it seems, here at the Nashville Fairgrounds. Of course, remember, Bob, we do have 1 caution flag here tonight for a stage break. That's going to come at the completion of lap number 30. So we will have to wait and see when that caution flag comes out. There will be championship points on the line, but as of right now, all of your championship drivers, except for, was that one car having a little bit of a lockup up there? I think that might have been possibly involving Johnny Williams. We'll see if we can get a quick look at this one on the 3-wide TV replay and see if there was maybe a little bit of contact. No, looks like it might have been in front of him. Whoa, there was contact between one of your chase drivers and one of your new drivers. Let's see what happened here between James Lorello and DeBarro. DeBarro getting loose up into the corner. He slides up. There wasn't any contact, but what a save out of the number 27 machine of DeBarro. We'll see if we can get one more look at that and see if we can go on board to kind of see how he was able to save that.
And just a fantastic save there by the 27. Looks like he and the 13 of Lorello were just kind of trying to avoid the spinning Johnny Williams. And I don't know if the 27 just got into the corner a little bit too hot, had to slide up or locked up the brakes or what. But man, what a fantastic save there by the 27 of DeBarro, and able to keep it going and didn't really lose all that much time.
Yeah, and he's currently being scored in the 5th position. So, yeah, you're right. Didn't lose a lot of time, didn't lose a lot of track position. Now he's battling with his teammate there, Shane Ewing, in that Rayovac machine, as we saw another puff of smoke up in front. Not sure what that was about. Hearing that Jason Shue in the number 40 AC Delco machine has headed to the pit road. There he is. So he's going to come down and take 4 tires. Hopefully he can make it back out there on the racetrack. But we are closing in very quickly here, Bob, on that stage break on lap number 30. For everyone watching here tonight, the drivers do have 2 sets of tires on pit road here tonight. So I don't expect to see a whole lot of drivers coming down to take on tires at the end of the stage break on lap number 30. But we might have a couple come down and take on fuel because they only have a 60% fuel tank.
Yeah, I mean, fuel's really going to be the big thing here. Not only fuel, but saving your tires as well. Obviously, 150 laps here in the race. So, you're going to have to manage your tires as best as possible. And it's a short track, so, you can almost expect to have a few more cautions out there than normal. So, just kind of manage your tires, get and pit as often as you can to keep fuel in the car. But that's what these drivers are really going to have to focus on as this race goes on.
Yeah, one driver that we're focusing on back here as he gets past there by the number 17 machine of Chad Cole is Philip Scott, the number 99 machine. One storyline entering tonight was the fact that he's been having some steering wheel troubles. He's actually had to go to a backup wheel and says, you know what, I'm just not used to it anymore. And he definitely seems to have lost a little bit of pace with that different steering wheel here at the back of the pack, running well down the running order in the 24th position. Just trying to keep it on the black stuff here in the early going tonight. We'll see how that evolves as the race goes on. Meanwhile, back up at the front, Spencer Tart has not the biggest advantage over the number 13 of James Lorello as the S2R machines running really toe-to-toe. And then right back behind them, Anthony DeBarro hasn't let Tim Johnston get anywhere out in front. In fact, he's run him down, and looks like the 23 just going to roll to the bottom side of the racetrack. Johnston not going to give his teammate any trouble, lets him slide on by. In fact, I got to say, it's DeBarro's sliders on the car, and with that big slide that we saw in turn number 3, well, it's kind of making that sponsor look pretty good on that 27 machine.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard of sponsorship activation, but I think that's just a little bit ridiculous. Here's the 27 now tries to look to the inside of the 13 of James Lorello. Last time he did this, got a little squirrely, as we had just mentioned, but this time looks good, fires off at turn number 4, and he's going to have the nose and able to make the pass down there. But, the 15 of Johnny Williams gets a little bit tight there coming out of the corner. But now the 27 sets his sights on the leader, Spencer Tart.
Yeah, we're coming down to that point here, Bob, where we're going to have that one and only stage break, and it looks like DeBarro wants to lead that stage break, getting to the inside of Spencer Tart. And if there's one thing about Spencer Tart, Bob, I know that he's really good here on the short tracks, and he's going to try and do everything he can to hold on to that race lead here to pick up as many points as he can at that stage break, which will really help him in the chase for the Thornton Graphix Cup. You need as many points as you can get over the next 5 weeks to walk away with the crown, and that's exactly what Spencer Tart wants to do. James Lorello is next closest chase driver there in 3rd, but then you have to slide back to the 5th position right there. That's the SimShot number 6 Ford Mustang, one of your other chase drivers of Andrew Himmelman. Back behind him, Mike Floppy Tellier is running in 7th, but right behind him is a couple of chase drivers as well, including your reigning series champion, Jason Gracias in the number 1 machine right there here tonight. Just got passed by Christopher Darling in the number 7.
Yeah, good battle there between the 1 of Gracias and the 70 of Chris Darling. Side by side there, really giving each other, a respectful amount of room here as the yellow comes out here, I believe, for maybe an issue on the track.
Yeah, I'm hearing it's the number 20 machine of Jason Freeman, one of your championship drivers. And, whoa, we just caught the back end of it there. That is heavy, heavy contact with the inside wall. We'll see if we can get another look at it here on the 3-wide TV replay. Let's slow it down. He's on the inside of the racetrack, starts to come up, and Johnny Williams is right there. I think he was expecting Williams to be a little bit closer to the wall, and unfortunately for Jason Freeman, that is some heavy, heavy, heavy contact into the inside wall, and the Mason-Dixon Cornhole Chevy Camaro will have to get a lucky dog, it does appear, because I think he is being scored 1 lap down right now. But there he is on screen, looking a little bit worse for wear.
Yeah, for sure, and just a tough break to be a chase driver and getting caught up in a wreck like that, especially here at the opening point of this chase, where all the drivers are fairly close, fairly close points-wise to each other. And I mean, with Nashville, with how narrow this racetrack is, Peter, anything could happen. If you come off the corner wrong, you hit that inside wall, you could very well bounce off into traffic and, have a bit of a track blocker. So, that's another thing these drivers are going to have to navigate as this race goes on.
Yeah, and now, meanwhile, if you're a fan of Spencer Chart, got good news for you. This is going to act as the stage caution, so even though we didn't exactly make it to lap number 30, this will count as the stage caution, and Spencer Tart will be picking up the bonus points for winning stage number 1 here tonight. He had Anthony DeBarro all over his back bumper, but DeBarro unable to get around the number 78 machine, and like I said, Bob, not a whole lot of takers on pit road. Top 10 stayed out, and right now it looks like the first driver who is on at least that came down pit road is actually one of our chase drivers. Is actually Mike Floppy Tellier. There he is. And we'll see if we can bring up kind of the pit strategy. You can see your top 10 all elected to stay out here tonight. So we'll see how that kind of evolves as kind of the race goes on. We'll see if Tellier in the number 97 machine, granted, did not take any tires on that number 97. Like I said, electing to save those 2 sets of tires on pit road for a little bit later in the race. But for right now, Mike Floppy Tellier has at least 30 laps extra fuel in his Toyota Supra. We'll see if that is to his benefit here tonight. But Bob, I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing out there on the racetrack. We got a lot of green flag racing in that first run, and really kind of good to see the field kind of naturally spread out. We got some racing. We got to see some tire degradation. We got to see drivers like Anthony DeBarro make up positions, make those passes, and it seems like the racetrack is really racy tonight.
Yeah, it really is, and you see drivers using different lanes as well here at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. Some of the drivers electing to take that lower line. A couple of guys kind of drifting the car a little bit higher up, probably I'd say around that 2nd or 3rd lane there. So, some good racing moves here as the pace car pulls off and we get ready to go back green.
Absolutely, folks. Hopefully you're enjoying what you're seeing in the chat here tonight as we go back to green flag racing here at the famed Nashville Fairgrounds. Up at the front, Spencer Chart able to get away, but man, there's a lot of battles going on a little bit further back. There's Nick Cohan in the number 21 machine, that bright orange machine, right back behind Chris Darling. There is Cohan. He is currently running in the 6th position right now, right in front of another driver who I expect to be a little bit higher up through the field at this point, Bob. One driver who's very, very good at the short tracks right there, Ben Izinga in his S2R number 17.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that he wasn't more, more further towards the front, for lack of words, starting off of this race. Qualified in 10th, moved his way up methodically through the field. Now he's right there running, I believe, in the 7th position. So he's kind of moving his way up through the field, but as we take a look out front, we've got a new leader, the 27 of DeBarro.
Yeah, DeBarro was able to get around the number 78 machine, and do we have a caution? I think we might have a caution out. We do. Yellow light's not working up there in the top left-hand corner of the screen. Getting word that it might be the number 6 machine. Here we go on the slow motion. This is Andrew Himmelman, one of your chase drivers who was running there on the back half of the top 10, right behind the number 1 of Jason Gracias. He's going to cut down underneath him here. Let's see if we can speed this up and see what happens. Coming out of the corner. There was contact between two chase drivers. Again, the 1 and the 6, and Himmelman. Oh man, Himmelman unable to save it. Keeps it off the wall, but that is going to put us under the caution flag. A great job there. Great long, lazy slide there for Andrew Himmelman to keep that car going. But there was definite contact between the 1 and the number 6 machine, Bob.
Yeah, and that long, lazy slide almost looked like a dirt slide that we've seen in the Master Millwright series that TNR runs Tuesday nights, where, yeah, the 1 came down. I don't know if the 1 didn't know the 6 was there, but a great job there by Andrew to get the car woed up, locks up the brakes, and most importantly, keeps that front end of the car clean and out of the wall.
Also, great to see the rest of the field not run into the back of Andrew Himmelman. Lots of heads-up driving there in the back half of the field to slice their way around and give each other plenty of space. We did get a quick look, though, of Jason Freeman. He will be your lucky dog here under the caution flag, brought to you by MaxGraphics.co. Jason Freeman, not Andrew Himmelman. Jason Freeman is currently being scored in the 24th position, but by my math, this will get him back on the lead lap. So the driver involved in the first caution flag of the night has a lot of front-end damage on that Chevy Camaro, but the good news for him is he will be able to do battle and see if he can pick up some more positions with some of the cars that are out front. There is your current race leader. Spencer Tart right behind him is in second. Tim Johnston was your pole sitter here tonight in that USAA Toyota Supra. Been looking pretty good here in the first portion of the race. I'm just curious to know, Bob, do you think some of these drivers are saving tires? I mean, the 27 machine, when you talk about the tortoise and the hare, DeBarro definitely looks like the hare right now. I know he's a very talented driver, but you think maybe some other drivers around him saving a little bit of their stuff at this point?
I feel like at this point, definitely. I mean, all these cars have about 42 laps, or at least the roughly the top 10 drivers have about 42 laps on their tires. I would assume the majority of them are trying to save tires. Like we had mentioned earlier, only 2 sets of tires in the pit, so you're really going to have to be stingy with how you use your tires and when you use them, especially for a chance of a late race caution. Try to get fresh tires and cut your way up through the field. So, I really do think that a lot of these guys are trying to save their tires, and maybe the 27 might have used them up a bit having that slide earlier on in the race. So at this point, who knows?
Yeah, well, we will wait and see how the race continues to pan out. Now, one thing you are starting to see, Bob, is you're definitely starting to see some marbles develop at the top side of the racetrack, and not a lot of people running that high up the racetrack as of right now. So we'll see whether or not those marbles continue to grow up there. That might make it a little bit slick for some of these drivers, but these drivers back on the loud pedal because we're back racing. Green flag back in the air. Anthony DeBarro is your race leader as he heads off into turn number 1. Comes out of turn number 2 as a race lead, but the side-by-side battle is currently for the second spot between Tim Johnston and Spencer Tart. Tart trying to hold on to it in that 78 machine. You can kind of see him just jab the throttle there coming through turn number 3 and 4. Doing a good job of using that high line right now to hold on to that second spot. Can he continue to hold off that 28 machine? Looks like he has as they come out of turn number 2.
And just there, coming out of turn number 2, the 28 of Johnston, again, just like on the start of the race, really couldn't quite get his tires underneath of him exiting the corner, and the 78 was able to just drive right off away from him. So we'll need to keep an eye on that as this race goes on to see if the 28 is still in contention towards the end, if there's a late race restart. How is that going to affect his drive? Because for the first couple laps, he just cannot get going with a drive out of turns 2 or turn 4. So this is definitely going to be an interesting one as the race goes on.
Yeah, getting word that the number 13 machine of James Dorello, he came down and took on tires for his first pit stop. He is currently running in the 7th position, so he will be the first driver on fresh tires here in the field. We'll see if he can slice his way up to the front on that fresh rubber, and maybe he can get a little bit of a green flag run in here, but there looks like a little bit of a logjam back here mid-pack. That's the number 17 machine. Chad Cole, David Harvey. Oh, there's contact. 17 machine going around. Tristan Mayer gets involved. And whoa, that's Brooks there coming in late. Gail Brooks there in the Unical 76 machine making a little bit of contact with the number 17. But man, we panned to that one right on cue. We brought out the ray gun, Bob.
Yeah, got out the ray gun, and look at this, the 117 there and the 77 get together. 17 gets turned, 98 really had nowhere else to go, and oh man, that Unico 76 machine just could not get the brakes going, and unfortunately plowed right into the side of the 117 of Chad Cole.
Yeah, so we'll get this one on the super slow-mo so we can kind of figure out what's going on. Harvey looks like he might have been just pushing up the racetrack a little bit there. There's the nudge, and it happened right in front of 2 chase drivers, the 98 of Tristan Mayer and the 6 of Andrew Himmelman. You see Himmelman scooting through right there. Mayer just got a piece of it. Here comes the 1 of Gracias, and you can see all those marbles down there on the bottom side of the racetrack. Gracias did as much as he could to avoid it, but unfortunately for the number 76 machine of Gail Brooks, right into the side of the number 17. Good news is it's a short track, and you can see those drivers down there getting some of their damage repaired as they are in their pit box, and I'm sure we'll see them back out in the racetrack. And it being a short track, you don't need a whole lot of your damage repaired. You just need enough to keep that car running.
Yeah, just keep going. Aero's really not much of a factor out there tonight, thankfully, for a lot of these drivers. So crash damage, just put a Band-Aid on it or some duct tape and send her on out there.
So you see a couple of cars there just rolling off pit road. Now let's see if we can take a look at our running order right now as things stand. There's your 5th place driver, Nick Cohan. We talked about him a little bit ago. Chris Darling there in the number 70. He's been climbing up through the field quite nicely in the MaxGraphics.co Toyota Supra. He has gained 9 positions from the start. But how about the biggest mover of the race so far? That'd be the number 71 machine, Bob. And that number 71 machine is driven by Josh Gerlach. There he is, running right behind James Lorello in the number 13. Lorello down 5 positions from where he started, but so far, so good for a driver here of the number 71.
Yeah, Gerlach, one of the Shibby Shack Dash for Cash drivers as well. Joining him will be the 41 of Tony Lucarelli and the 01 of Nick Cambrone. So, Gerlach, good moves so far. Started P20, now up to 8th, and just kind of having himself a quiet, consistent night.
Yeah, so we will continue to see that number 71 machine climb up through the field. And why don't we update you folks on the Shibby Shack Dash for Cash drivers. Tony Lucarelli right now running in the 12th position, right there in the number 41. And where is Cambrone running right now?
It's like P11, I believe.
Yeah, right in front of him. So they're pretty much right together out there on the racetrack. That's exactly what you want in that Shibby Shack Dash for Cash, Bob.
Oh yeah, for sure. Always like to see a good battle between the 3 drivers picked every single week, and can't ask for more, having them pretty much be able to fit under a blanket right here with only about less than 100 laps to go.
Yep. And I don't know why that says changed, but it says changed. So anyhow, green flag about to be in the air here, and we are back racing here at Nashville Fairgrounds in the 27 machine. Out front, once again, Anthony DeBarro was able to make that jump, that battle for second. Back behind him between Tim Johnson and Spencer Tart dies off once again. Now the battle between Spencer Ewing and the 21 machine. Looking back behind them, though, remember that number 13, Lorello, he's on fresher tires than all these cars in front of him. In fact, let's see if we can bring up that graphics, because now you'll be able to see the different pit strategy that we have there in the top 10. it's still only James Zarello at this point, Bob, of these drivers who have elected to come down pit road, and that's more than likely because A, track position on short tracks is important, and B, he's the only one of those drivers who has come down pit road to actually have taken tires. So that's how he's able to make those moves.
Yeah, and Peter, I'm actually a little bit surprised that we haven't seen more guys who've taken tires up tire on. I know fresh tires obviously mean you're going to be a little bit faster of laps, but these guys with the old tires who started the race on these same tires able to hold their own, and that just goes to show the pace that these leaders are running right now is pretty strong.
Yeah, so you can see Anthony DeBarro there has scooted away to about a 0.8 of a second lead up at the front of the field, but we are watching this battle now for the second position between Spencer Tart, Tim Johnston, and Shane Ewing. Nick Cohan in that battle. And of course, James Zarello, he wants to pick up those spots. He was able to get around Christopher Darling here. But we've had some great racing here early on at the Nashville Fairgrounds. Definitely been a fun one if you're just now joining us here on 3YTV. We've had a couple of caution flags, but the race has definitely been very lively, all things considered. Here's a couple of drivers going for the Thornton Graphix chase for the Cup. One of those drivers is the 6th of Andrew Himmelman. He's been in the wars here early in the running, and he just got around a very, very fast number 17 NOS Energy Drink machine of Ben Izenga. Izenga now right in front of Tony Lucarelli. This is a battle right now for the 12th position. Very surprised to see the number 17 of Izenga running outside the top 10 on lap number 61.
Yeah, Izenga started 10th, running now in 12th, and I'm a little bit surprised, especially, looking at his prowess of short track racing. A very talented driver overall is Izenga, and I'm a little surprised to see him, this far back at this point in the race. But, again, anything could happen, and we do have a lot of drivers, Ben's teammate in particular, who, may not get the best starts, but as the race goes on, they're able to slowly but surely dice their way up through the field. Bill Edwards is one of those drivers as well, Izenga's S2R teammate. So, I'm still a little bit surprised that the 17 is this far back at this point in the race, but at the same time, we have some really talented drivers all throughout the field.
Yeah, we got the number 97 of Mike Floppy-Teller. We know he is very fast here tonight, qualified up there inside the top 3. He's currently running down in the 14th position right now, folks, but he was one of those drivers who has already come down pit road, already taken on fuel, but has yet to take on tires. So he's kind of hoping that we kind of have caution flags fall at an opportune time, that he might get the jump on those cars that have already come down and taken on tires. He's going to try and get underneath the number 17 here, Ben Izenga. Look at all the passing we're seeing, all the side-by-side action here tonight, Nashville Fairgrounds. Love to see this, not only as a commentator, but the drivers love to see it, and I know you like to see it as well in the 3YTV chat. As man, they got a little bit squirrely right there. A couple of the teammates, the number 98 and the number 99, Philip Scott and Tristan Mayer, they're running together out there on the racetrack. Currently, the 98, one of your chase drivers, is running in 16th. And Bob, he was one of those drivers who was able to race his way in last week, or 2 weeks ago, at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, winning that race and able to be our last chance qualifier to make it into the battle for the championship.
Yeah, Peter, nothing like nerves and intensity when you have to race your way in, and the 98 of Tristan Maher was able to do that. And, especially good for him because these last couple of races before this chase started, he was absolutely snake-bitten, caught up in other people's wrecks. And even tonight, you could even, say how lucky the 98 was, able to dodge the wreck that had happened just a few laps ago. So 98, good for him to make his way up here in the chase, and so far mid-pack right now as this race goes on.
Yeah, and that number 27 machine, he is bad fast right now. Fastest car out there on the racetrack, and really pulling away right now from the number 78 machine of Spencer Tart. There is Spencer. He's locked in a battle right now for the second position with Timothy Johnson, Shane Ewing, James Zarello, and Nick Cohan in that battle as well. So this is a great battle going on for second, but everyone's losing time right now to Anthony DeBarro as we close in on the halfway mark here in tonight's 150-lap feature event at Nashville Fairgrounds here on 3Y TV. The first round of the Thornton Graphix chase for the Cup. All the drivers that you see out there with the bright green spoilers, they're hard to miss, Bob. Those are our chase drivers, including this driver we're focusing on right now, the 78.
Yeah, I really appreciate Garrett and the rest of the admins here in the Total Nonstop Racing League to say, all right, playoff drivers, let's get the most obnoxious color for the spoilers to signify a chase driver. This way the other drivers on the track can see it, but even better, so you and I can see who the chase drivers are from afar and be able to say, oh, okay, that looks like a chase driver. Let's, cue in on them for this series right here.
Yep, so you see those drivers involved in that battle for second, all the way from Spencer Tart back to Christopher Darling, who's, just a little bit off the back bumper of Nick Cohan, as we have a side-by-side battle for third position right there. That's James Zorello and the 28 machine of Tim Johnston doing battle. And like we've been highlighting, the fact that number 13 is on fresher tires, and whoa, almost 3 wide back behind there with Ewing, Cohan, and Johnston. That was almost a moment between those two, but it looks like Cohan here trying to roll that bottom side of the racetrack. He's going to pull off the move on Ewing, move him back, and here comes Christopher Darling just sneaking into the picture as well in his number 70 Toyota.
Yeah, Chris Darling looking to pounce there as the 21 almost made it 3 wide. The biggest loser in that move was going to be the 32 of Shane Ewing, but looks like everyone no worse for wear, and the 70 looking to make some moves up through the field.
And big wiggle by the number 28 machine right there. And Tim Johnston opened up the door, and connection issues there on the number 28 machine. He's back. That was a little bit scary for the driver right now running in the 5th position. Spencer Tart has been able to kind of check out on this battle. As you can just see, Bob, they're racing so hard. They're losing a ton of time now, about 5 seconds behind your race leader, Anthony DeBarro, as we close in on lap number 80. We've just gotten past the halfway mark here tonight. Time really flying by here on 3Y TV. This has been some great action. Look at Christopher Darling now slicing his way underneath Shane Ewing. That's a battle for 6th.
And what a fantastic battle between these 4 drivers right here, even when James Lorello was part of it as well. But, I mean, even looking at this battle right now, the 21, or the 13 rather, of Lorello was able to pull away. And, if I'm one of the lead drivers, I'm saying, you know what, guys? You guys keep racing. I'm going to get out of here and try to pick up some time on the 27, because he has absolutely checked out right now.
Tim Johnston in the number 28 machine. He's coming down pit road here, Bob. At some point we talked about the fact that some drivers haven't pitted yet, and the 28 machine is one of those drivers. He's coming down for his first pit stop here tonight. Is this going to open up pit road for drivers like Anthony DeBarro as well? That number 27 machine, he is yet to make a pit stop here tonight, and if he gets an inopportune caution, his night could be ruined in an absolute hurry here at the Nashville Fairgrounds. Going to be really interesting. Of course, we'd seen Johnston struggling. Do you think that might have been the reason he came down pit road here around lap number 80?
Yeah, Peter, that very well could be, just to kind of hedge your bets. But at the same time, if we don't get a caution, he very well could be trapped, a lap down while the rest of the drivers are able to race on by. So this could be very interesting as this race goes on.
Yeah, Anthony DeBarro yet to come down pit road. Now, he is extremely fast, up to a 3-second race lead on the next car behind him. That's Spencer Tart, but Spencer's in the same boat. He's yet to pit here tonight. The first driver who has pitted is the number 13 machine of James Zorello, who's currently riding in that 3rd position, about 2 seconds or so back behind the driver we ride on board here with. That is Spencer Tart headed down the backstretch, just watching Anthony DeBarro slip a little bit further off into the sunset up at the front of the field. Nick Cohan has gotten himself up into the 4th spot after getting around Shane Ewing and Tim Johnston. He's put a gap on the number 32. Chris Darling, that battle's cooled off between the 32 and the number 70. Nick Chambrone, he's back there, but he's got a hard-charging SimShots number 6 Ford Mustang right behind him. Really cool to have Sim Shots on board. Of course, Sim Shots taking all the pictures this year of the Total Nonstop Racing Thornton Graphix Cup. If you want to check them out, make sure you check out Total Nonstop Racing's Facebook page, where you can just get a snippet of what Andrew Himmelman does each and every week here for the league, and displaying Sim Shots proudly on the hood of that Ford Mustang tonight.
Yeah, Andrew does such a great job of saying last week during the race of just how talented he is to get these cars and these photos of these cars looking as good as they are. I mean, right now, my computer monitor desktop backgrounds are both Sim Shots pictures. So Andrew does a fantastic job with everything he does. And oh, the 6, as we say that, the 6 gets sideways, and a couple leaders were on pit road as well. So this could be a big game changer.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happened there. We were just speaking of him. We just had to open our mouths there, Bob. Not the first time. He got up in the marbles there in turn number 3 and 4. That's exactly what happened, Bob. Like those marbles, you can see him up there at the top side of the racetrack, folks. Just got up in them, and all of a sudden that car just goes around. Let's see if we can slow this one down for you here on 3Y TV. Now, he gets in the corner a little late, had to wash up the racetrack because of how close he was behind Chambrone, and then gets up in those marbles, gets all of that hot marbles on the hot tires, and just enough for him to go around and unfortunately bring out the caution flag here just after the halfway mark. Now, speaking of pit road, it's an extremely busy place right now because pretty much all of your leaders are on pit road. We got Lorello, Tellier, Ewing, DeBarro, Gracias, Cohan, just a whole bunch of people on pit road. No surprise, DeBarro's going to be the first one off pit road. But look at Mike Floppy Tellier in the 97 machine. I think he's gambling in that bright pink machine. There's Lorello, Darling, Ewing coming off pit road, Chambrone, Gibbo, and a couple of the other drivers a little bit further back. You can see the pace car already working its way out of turn number 4. But my oh my, this is going to shake things up at least a little bit, because you have to remember, Bob, Tim Johnston in the number 28 machine, he's probably the biggest loser in this whole mess because he pitted well earlier than the race leaders did, and he's being scored right now by my math a lap down, one full lap behind the race leaders. So I think he might get the lucky dog here, or not the lucky dog, but the wave around, and get back on the same lap as DeBarro. So that's good news, but that definitely could be kind of a struggle. But anyway, Bob, about 60 laps to go right now. That number 27 machine, do you think anyone's got anything for him here tonight?
You know, I'm really looking at this restart to be pretty key, because don't forget the 97 of Mike Floppy Tellier already used one set of tires, and when he came out of the pits, I'm not sure if he put tires on the car. So, you know, this restart could be big. Bunch of guys with fresh tires all around him, and some older tires with probably, I'd say, about 55 to 60 laps on them already. So, you know, this could be interesting here as we get ready to go back green soon.
Yeah, and only driver in the top 10 who didn't take tires. That is the number 97 machine. On driver. That's not proper English. Only driver in the top 10. You know, sometimes you have to type fast, and sometimes it just doesn't quite work. That's the name of my game here. Sometimes I have to talk fast, and it doesn't work here on 3Y TV. You guys know, if you're in the chat, I'm sure you've heard me with a couple of blunders over the couple of years that I've been broadcasting, but hopefully no more typing, no more talking blunders here as we're about to go back to green flag racing. Hopefully no driving blunders either out there on the racetrack. Pace car on pit road, and we're back green flag. The 27 machine, huge jump for DeBarro. Cohan gonna go with him. And remember, contact, and Tellier's up the wall. Oh, we got the big one. It's the big one in turn number 1 and 2 up at the front of the field. We're still wrecking. Harvey gets up into the side of the number 48 machine, and we're gonna have to go back and get that one here on this 3Y TV replay, Bob, because we're back to caution.
wow. It just looked like a bit of just a racing deal there between the 97 and the 70. And like I said, the 97 didn't really get that great of a jump, possibly because of the 60 lap older tires. And as we see right here, the 97 went down, the 70 was already there, and just the whole rest of the field kind of got wadded up behind him. The 32 gets a hard hit from the 48. And as everyone's riding in there, the 77 might have gotten clipped by the 70. And, it all kind of just went on it from there.
Let's see if we can go on board here on the restart. This is on board with the number 71 machine of Josh Gerlach. And watch this mess all happen right here. There's the initial contact, trying to figure out a spot to go, and all of a sudden the track is completely blocked in front of him. My oh my, and then you see that additional contact there between the 77 machine. I believe that was the 48 of Chris Gabot. We'll see if we can get another look and see what happened between the 48 and the 77 machine. Let's see, there's the 48 did a great job of avoiding that carnage. We'll go back, and then there's that initial, or a second hit check on the side of the 77 machine to turn him around. But let's even go on board with Gabot here, see if we can get his look here on this replay. Watch it all happen in front of him. He gets on the brakes. Oh, there was definitely, I thought he was able to squeak his way through there, but there's definitely a little bit of contact with the number 35 machine. Did a good job of saving it there when Harvey got up into him. But that's going to be a tough break for a couple of these drivers here tonight who had a good run going. And I'm also hearing Jason Freeman in the number 20 machine. He's on pit road right now. Being scored as your race leader. Not sure what that is all about. But looks like live timing and scoring updating. And hands it back to Anthony DeBarro. So just a little bit of a glitch right there. But some of these chase drivers not having the night they were looking for. The highest placed chase driver right now is that man right there, the driver who got in the last chance qualifier, Tristan Mayer.
Yeah, and speaking of chase drivers having bad luck, I'm getting word now that the 6 of Andrew Himmelman had some internet issues. So Andrew Himmelman now is currently off the racetrack for the time being. So that huge chase implications right there for the 6.
Yeah, I misspoke just a little bit. James Arello is your highest placed chase driver here in the chase for the Thornton Graphix Cup. We close in on lap number 100 here tonight, the 2/3 race distance here at the famed Nashville Fairgrounds. Hopefully you're enjoying the race. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Tana Himmelman in there. Logan Skelton saying the big one at the small one. Yeah, that was definitely a little narrow there through turns number 1 and 2. Tana Himmelman saying Drew squeaked by, but unfortunately the internet has pooped out. Put it just PG right there, Tana. Ben Adams in the chat. It's kind of quiet tonight here, folks. Great racing out there. I'm sure, just like when you're eating, right, Bob? If you're quiet, it's good. Green flag back in the air, and the 27 machine of Anthony DeBarro will lead us back to the green flag. James Arello side by side with Chambrone there coming out of turn number 2. But look at this battle a little bit further back. Chris Gabot there in the 48 machine, the 98 Tristan Mayer back behind him. These drivers fighting like cats and dogs to try and get as much track position as they can here in the final 50 laps now here at Nashville.
Just some fantastic side-by-side racing here as we see a couple of chase contenders duking it out. The 17 of Ben Izinga, the 98 of Tristan Mayer there. And look at that, 3 wide there between the 50, 78, and 76. And somehow they all make it through. The 76 might have grazed the wall just a little bit. But, man, just some fantastic racing all over the racetrack here at the National Speedways. The 70 gets really squirrely somehow. No idea how he was able to save that one.
Yeah, that Bill Edwards right there having a big moment in his S2R machine. Car around in turn number 3 and 4. It's Josh Gerlach, the number 71 machine. We were just riding on board with him a little while ago. And we're back under caution here. Let's see what happened here. The number 70 of Chris Darling just given a little bit of a nudge. 2 consecutive cautions in a row that Chris Darling's been involved. One of your chase drivers given just a nudge to the back end of that number 71 machine. Hopefully not a whole lot of damage to that race car, but unfortunately it looks like he's lost the front bumper. Let's see if he can get an extra one on pit road. There's that nudge, and there's the nudge from Darling that kind of took it off, but all things considered, could have been a whole lot worse for Gerlach. There is action heating up here in the final 50 laps, Bob.
Yeah, some great action there, and I'm a little surprised at the front bumper just kind of falling off of that Gerlach machine. Really didn't look like he had all that much contact with the 70 the second time while spinning. So, hopefully his pit crew's got an extra nose there in the pit box, and they can just pop it back on, and he'll be good to go.
Yep, so the caution flag out once again. We'll see if we can get a lucky dog. In fact, sure enough, there goes the lucky dog. That is Shane Ewing, who is picking up the lucky dog here under this caution flag. By my math, we are at 22 cars who appear to be on the lead lap. And that Rayovac number 32 has definitely not had the best last half of the race here tonight. Fantastic debut here in the Total Nonstop Racing League Thornton Graphix Cup. But definitely hasn't quite panned out here in the back half of the race. We'll see if he can slice his way up towards the front. A lot of these drivers, Bob, still have a set of Goodyear tires on pit road as I try and fight off a yawn. Folks, it's not because it's boring or anything. It's just because when I have a tendency to talk like that, I have to yawn. I have to get air back in my lungs. I talk too fast here on Three-Way TV.
Hey, completely understandable. And, this has been one of those races where, just a lot has been going on through pretty much all over the racetrack. We've seen comers and goers. The 27 has been pretty much leading the majority of the race, the 78 as well. But the 78 Spencer Tart looks like he's fallen back a little bit just right now, down into, I believe, the 12th position after starting 4th. Just some comers and goers, great action all across the racetrack. I mean, this is a phenomenal race, and I'm just glad to be here, being able to help broadcast this one here on 3-Wide TV.
So DeBarro has been out there on the racetrack for the last 17 laps. Nick Cohan as well. Lorello has, I believe, made both of his tire pit stops tonight on the number 9 machine. Chambrone there in 4th. He basically pitted with everyone else. But look at some of the mix strategies a little bit further back. Look at the 8th place machine. Chad Cole. He's been on and off pit road multiple times tonight. That's 4 pit stops if you figure out that graphic right. Jason Gracias, he's been on pit road 3 times tonight. Tristan Mayer, he's been on pit road twice. But your front 2 have only been on pit road once here as we're about to go back to green flag. Racing pace car heads back down pit road. Hopefully we can get some more green flag action out on the racetrack, but they're all bunched up for the green flag. And once again, Anthony DeBarro with a huge jump, side-by-side action. Back behind him, though, there's Chambrone, one of those Shibby Shack Dash for Cash drivers. There's a little bit of contact. Oh, no, he's into the inside wall.
Oh, into the inside wall and then into the rest of the field as a bunch of cars get collected there in that madness. And, the broadcaster's curse strikes us yet again in this race. The 01 is Chambrone. Let's take a look here on the replay. He's on the outside of the 13 and might have gotten some help from the 48 and Philip Scott involved. And, oh, man, just a tough bit of luck going right there.
Yeah, that one's we're going to, I think, have to go up to the blimp cam for that one to figure out what all went on. But a couple of the drivers a little bit further back in the pack, the 20, the 22 got a chunk of it. Jason Freeman hasn't been his night. Let's see if we can figure out exactly what all went down with Chambrone there up in front near the number 9 machine of Lorello. Let's see, here we go. And we just got it a little bit too late there. There we go. Well, we'll get this one at the bottom of your screen right down there. Number 13 of Lorello to the inside. Now, Lorello comes up, and I wonder if that just unnerved the 01 machine of Chambrone. Do you think, Bob? I mean, he kind of came up there. It looked like there was a little bit of contact, and the 01 broke loose. Or maybe the 01 just got loose. Too much beans coming out of turn number 2. Not sure. That's kind of a tough one to call.
Yeah, just from that angle there, it looked like just kind of the perfect mixture of both. This onboard gyro cam might be a little bit helpful. Here's the 13 comes clear, and right there, it didn't look like they had any contact. And then, unfortunately, the 20 and the 22 get a pretty hard lick there as well.
Yeah, it hasn't been the night that Philip Scott was hoping for here tonight as well. He is sitting in his pit box right now, but cautions here in the back half of the race, and definitely hasn't been the best of nights for a couple of our chasers. That will be a storyline going into next week here, Bob. And we're already talking about next week because next week we go to a 1.5 mile racetrack. So we go from this very tight short track to the Atlanta Motor Speedway, a racetrack that has been recently worked on by iRacing to give it a little bit more raciness. And I cannot wait till we are on the high banks of Atlanta Motor Speedway with these Grand National Series cars, because that place always put on a show, and I'm sure it is just going to be even better than it used to be.
For sure. And a few weeks ago, I believe it was the opening race for the 2021 season 1 here for iRacing in the Xfinity cars, and I just had an absolute blast racing there. The high line actually winds up being a little bit of the faster line at the start of the race, and then as the cars tighten up, you wind up using the lower line a little bit more. So, a lot of different grooves and a lot of different ways you can get around the racetrack. I am super excited to go racing there next week.
For all those people in the chat watching who remember NASCAR Racing 2003 season, I will be talking about the Atlanta BR line next week. That is for sure, and I'm really excited that I will finally be able to talk about the Atlanta BR line in iRacing, and it will be a fast line. How about that? Meanwhile, speaking of fast lines, green flag back in the air, and you can see that back half of the field racing hard to try and pick up as many spots as they can, but DeBarro once again clears himself up at the front of the field. James Zarello, he's going to slot into third. Meanwhile, back behind him, here's Tony Lucarelli. Bob, that number 41 machine has snuck himself up into the top 5, gained 17 spots. We getting word? Problems. 50 machine of Bill Edwards has gone around on entry into turn number 3. We're back under caution.
Man, a tough break there. I saw some 3-wide racing coming out of 2, and looks like the 70 and the 50 got into one another, and the 50 winds up getting the short end of the stick there as he had to chase the car all the way down the track, then back up. But a good save there by Bill Edwards to try to keep it off the wall as best as he could and get it back going in the right direction.
Yeah, let's watch this 3-wide action. I mean, this is one spot on the racetrack where the track just narrows up, and just a little nudge like that is enough to kind of send one car into the next, and it's a pinball machine. And unfortunately, Bill Edwards was on the bad end of the pinball, but like you said, Bob, able to kind of get away without any significant damage except for the track position side of things for Edwards, as he drops all the way down to 21st position. And I believe the last car on the lead lap that's currently out there on the racetrack, Dale Brooks and Shane Ewing, both in their pit box. Now, Nick Chambrone in the 01 machine, he has put it on the hauler, it looks like. We'll see if he can get back out there on the racetrack, but the 01 machine involved in the caution prior to this one that we're currently under, he has not moved from his pit box. So that is bad news for one of our Shibby Shack Dash for Cash drivers. But the number 41 machine, we were just talking about him. Another one of those Shibby Shack Dash for Cash drivers, Tony Lucarelli tonight, Bob, doing fantastic inside the top 5.
Yeah, running P5 right now, started back in 22nd place and just having himself a quiet race, which is exactly what you want in one of these situations where, as soon as we mention how great of a race they're having, something happens. But as of right now, knock on wood, the 41 Tony Lucarelli having a pretty great run out there right now. Yeah,
that is definitely true for that really good-looking hot rod right there. Got a little bit of rear end damage, but that shouldn't hurt him all too much. What about Chris Cabot? Also up there, started in the 17th position, now running in 6th. Chad Cole in the number 17 had his troubles earlier on in that Z-Line Designs Toyota Supra. I think we got to have a bet. What's the best paint scheme in the field? The number 17 or the number 97? Folks, if you like pink, it's between those two, the 97 and the 17. There's 80 numbers between them, but both of those pink machines out there doing battle around Nashville Fairgrounds. You just got to give a little bit of that soft pink to this racetrack, because otherwise it definitely has quite a tough attitude here, and we're seeing that here all the way around this short track racing at its finest here tonight at Nashville.
That's for sure. The 17 there of Cole giving me flashbacks to, I want to say, the 2010 Kyle Busch, I want to say a Busch Series paint scheme that he ran that was fan designed, and that was one of the paint schemes that looks like a bit of an homage to him. As the green flag is out, and DeBarra once again gets a great jump on the restart there. The 21 of Kohan as well, able to clear the 13 of Lorello, but look at that, in fourth right now, the 17, Ben Izinga, able to clip his way through the field, and things getting a little tight there with the 41 of Tony Lucarelli as they complete that lap.
Yeah, things getting tight all the way through the field here as we are finally back under green flag running at this racetrack. Tim Johnson in the number 28 machine. We'll get a big look at that number 28 there right on your screen. He's worked himself back up into 11th position. Oh, wow, 77 of David Harvey back there in the back, smacking the wall coming out of turn number 4. It has been a night that the number 77 was hoping for here in this race. But it looks like that 28 right now, he's going to be trying to pick up as many spots as he can. Just got around the number 98 of Tristan Mayer. He's definitely on his charge back up towards the front bottom.
Yeah, Mayer back on his horse, and trouble! The 48 gets sliding there, and looks like he might be no worse for wear. As we'll take a look at the replay right here.
Yeah, that's Spencer Chart, the number 78 machine, right up next to him. There's the contact, little bit of a nudge, and just gets into the inside wall. Good job there by Gibault to, again, limit the damage to his Chevy Camaro, but there was a definite nudge there with Spencer Tart, and that is going to be big for Spencer Tart. I mean, he's one of those chase drivers, and that little bit of contact right there, you and I know, Bob, that if you're at fault for an incident, you do get an end of longest line penalty. So if Tart is deemed at fault for that one, we could see one of our chase drivers who had a fantastic start to the night, all things considered, could end up on a sour note for the 78.
Yeah, definitely, and just kind of looking back at a few other races, the 78 had to serve either one or two penalties for not claiming his caution earlier on in the season. Had to serve a drive-through penalty at the start of the Richmond race, to which he wound up responding by winning that race at Richmond. And I believe there was an incident at Gateway as well where the 78 didn't claim a caution. So, as long as he's able to claim the caution, it was deemed that, his fault. He says, I'll take the EOL. And they just kind of go at it from there. But, this could be huge for the chase with only 5 races left.
Yeah, so we'll see whether or not Tart peels out of line and drops to the back of the pack. Now, we do have an out-of-race administrator here tonight. That's the number 88 machine of Brian Rubel. And Rubel here tonight will be the one that points the finger, if you will. Or maybe not points the finger. If it's a 50-50 deal, sometimes it just kind of ends up being a wash. But have yet to see the number 78 of Spencer Tart drop back in the pack. Jason Gracias in the number 1 machine currently is on the apron. And he gets back up there on the racing surface. Your reigning series champion here in the Thornton Graphix Cup Grand National Series, if you will. There he is, running in the eighth position right now. And got a little bit of a South Park flair to that number 1 tonight.
Yeah, very interesting look of the design. Just an all-black number 1 car with, didn't exactly see what was on the back bumper of his car, but good looking hot rod out there. And right now it looks like the 78 was in fact given an EOL penalty, so the 78 of Spencer Tart will be dropping back to the end of the line right there. So all is good and all is well as they're getting ready to go back green.
Yeah, so that is going to be a big blow to one of your chase drivers by my math, we are currently at 22 cars on the lead lap. And you know who is the last car on the lead lap? Well, it'd be Chris Cabot, the car that there was that contact with just a minute ago. But we're closing in on 32 laps to go here. And no one has been able to have anything for Anthony DeBarro over the past 15, 20 laps. And even for really, I should say, the last about 100 laps, 15, 20 when we've had these restarts, one after the other. But he's led since about lap number 35 here tonight. Just waiting to see that green flag drop again. And there it is. DeBarro on the loud pedal. Here comes Lorello trying to get underneath the number 17 of Ben Izenga. And the reason we have a couple of 17s is actually the 17 on the right, or now behind the other 17. The number 117 of Cole, Chad Cole there has, contact one of the 17s into the other 17, and there goes the 77 into a 17, and we have the ray gun once again. Ben Izenga's night appears completely toast here. My, oh my. Let's see what happened here. Tony Lucarelli in the number 41 machine. There's the contact. Izenga goes around. Chad Cole right there. Ouchies. The 17, and here comes the 77 machine. And I'm also hearing the number 7 machine might have had an incident as well. Let's see if we can play. This is Garrett Gleason. Did he get through this all right? I think he did. But for some reason it said that Garrett Gleason had an issue as well. We'll just make sure that Gleason's all right in that number 7 speed energy machine. Maybe it was just because he kind of slowed down there on the racetrack, but there was definite contact there, Bob, between the 41 and the number 17. This is one I think once again we're going to have to go up to the blimp cam to see what happened here. Slow it way down for all you folks back at home. 17 right there. The 41. Ah, man, that's kind of just 2 cars ending up at the same spot on the racetrack there, Bob. And just a little bit of a nudge in the quarter panel. And unfortunately for the 17 of Izenga, one of your chase drivers, no less, up in smoke.
Yeah, up in smoke, and then looks like the 77 couldn't quite get it woed up and just winds up taking off the entire front clip of the 17 of Izenga. So just a tough break and really a tough night overall for that 17 machine. Is a lot of smoke going there, and wow, it looked like on this side of things, 77 just kind of drove through him and didn't get any damage.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that 77 Hisense machine, and it doesn't look half bad. He's currently being scored in the 15th position, is Dave Harvey, but just kind of clipped right through it. Unfortunately for Ben Izenga, one of your chase drivers, and one of your stronger chase contenders as well, winning multiple times this season here in the Total Nonstop Racing League. His night goes no further. Going to have to turn it around next week at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Well, your Canadian number 17 is out here tonight. Anthony DeBarro continues to lead the race. Nick Cohan in second. And Bob, that 21 machine, now he's getting to that point of the race. Do you think he's going to risk trying to jump a restart here to try and keep with DeBarro as the pace car lights have turned off once again?
I think he might have to. I mean, the 27 of DeBarro has been having fantastic restarts, and the 21's able to keep up with him, but just that extra little split second of acceleration the 27 has over the 21, very well could be the make or break here, especially on lap 135 here of 150. So the 21's going to have to get on the loud pedal a little bit early to try to keep pace with the 27.
And there goes DeBarro. Cohan not able to hold on to that spot to the outside of DeBarro. We're back, green flag coming out of turn number 2. We're watching the 117 machine of Chad Cole, who was involved in that last accident there, Bob. He's going to stay up there inside the top 5. How about that? But look who's creeping back up into the picture. Number 28 machine of Tim Johnston in the USAA Toyota Camry. He's had an up-down night. Remember, he was stuck a lap down at one point here tonight after he pitted a little bit earlier than everyone else. Caution flag flew, got him caught a lap down, but he is now racing for that 4th position. And look at your reigning series champion right back behind him. That's Jason Gracias in the number 1, right in front of a beaten up Jason Freeman. We talked about the Jason and Jason show. The Jason and Jasons are 6th and 7th. We got a car going around. The 76 machine has gone around on the backstretch. Caution flag back in the air.
Yeah, tough break there for the 76 of Gail Brooks. We'll take a look here on the replay to see exactly what had happened. But, looks like 3 wide there. The 78 of Spencer Tart says, hey, I'm a man on a mission. Gets him 3 wide there into the 77. And then the 78 gets into him once again. 76 sideways there. And, hard hit to the inside retaining wall.
Yeah, we're going to have to go back and see this one from the blimp cam as well, because watch Spencer Tart here. Ironically, so the 76 gets loose. He gets a run. Spencer Tart dives off into the corner. They make maybe a little bit of contact right there, but that's where they make the rest of the contact, and unfortunately nowhere for the number 48 machine to go, but into the back of the Unocal 76 race machine, and caution flag back in the air. But this is an interesting one. They almost made it work, Bob. They almost made 3 wide work, but this racetrack is quite narrow, especially with the marbles we've seen up there on the top side of the racetrack. These drivers not wanting to mess around with them, and just the wrong nudge at the wrong spot of the racetrack will do that to a race car. And I gotta say, I absolutely love the sponsor integration of the Unocal 76 machine, not particularly in the incident right there, but it's a great looking hot rod. Unfortunately, it looks like it's going to end up not where Gail Brooks wanted it to end.
Yeah, and that's one of those things where it looked like the 76 almost had it saved, but the 48 just could not get woed up in time, wound up getting right in the back of him and sending him down the racetrack. But, that would have been interesting to see if the 76 was able to save it. Looks like he had a pretty decent handle on the car, but just wound up getting picked up on the back end and spun around.
So that is definitely not going to be good. Now, of course, the big question is going to be the 78 machine, Spencer Tart. He's already well down in the field, but if that is his second caution flag on him here tonight, that will be a drive-through penalty for that number 78 machine. So we'll see whether or not that happens. He's currently being scored in the 15th position here, but the lap counter up in the top left-hand corner of the screen, folks, it's down to just 9 laps to go. So, of course, cautions breed cautions, and that's definitely what we're starting to see here. Number 16 machine. That's a driver we have not mentioned all night here tonight, folks. Quietly out there on the racetrack. That, of course, is Don Runkle Jr. He is right there. Has Mission 22 on the hood of that number 16 machine. And having a great night, all things considered. In fact, one of the cleaner cars in the field, running right there behind the number 32 machine, right in front of David Harvey. We'll see how Don can work his way up through the field here in the closing laps. Can he have a run up there towards the top 10? We'll just have to wait and see. But speaking of running out there on the racetrack, pace car lights are off. We're about to go back to green flag racing. 8 more laps to go here tonight at Nashville Fairgrounds. Pace car down onto pit road. DeBarra once again leading us back to green. Can Cohan do anything here, Bob? We'll have to wait and find out.
Let's find out here as the green flag is out. A great jump there by the 27 of DeBarra. This time the 13 of James Lorello able to get side by side, wheel to wheel, but the 21 just getting a little bit better drive up off the corner. A couple of cars just kind of kissing that outside wall as they exit turn number 3. But here comes the field down now with 5 or 6 rather laps to go as DeBarra is going to lead that lap.
Yeah, it looks like the number 13 machine of Lorello will slot into 3rd. I'm sure he'll be happy right where he is, the highest placed driver of all the chase drivers currently. There's Chad Cole, who's had an up-down night. Tim Johnston, also an up-down night for him. Currently on an up, but now on a down as he goes around. Just had to open my mouth. Caution flag waves with 5 laps to go.
Man, a tough break there for the 28. Had a really great driving car at the start of the race. Wound up leading a couple of laps. Got the pole, and then all kind of just went downhill after that first green flag pit stop for him, and just into the inside wall, and oh man, just a clenching moment there for the 50 of Bill Edwards. Got really close to him hitting after bouncing off the inside wall.
Yeah, luckily for Bill, doesn't think like it's going to get any worse for him, so he's going to be scored in the 13th position as they run right now. But back under caution flag here, folks, and I think the big question is going to be for the chat, how many green-white checkers are we going to see here tonight? As we've seen quite a few caution flags here. Right early angle saying, for what it's worth, apparently Phillips' good wheel broke, so he has to use his old one. Yep, that is definitely the case. Found that out last night when we did a GT3 race together. Tactical saying, let's go, Johnny, let's go. Johnny Williams out of the race here tonight, unfortunately. Been kind of quiet in the chat here, folks. What's going on with you guys? Hopefully we can get, let's see if we can, we got 20 people watching right now. Let's see if we can get a little bit of a like spike, because racing here, there's been a lot of side-by-side action. Yes, there's been a lot of contact here over the last 50 laps or so, which has led to quite a few cautions. But I think out there, these drivers are worth at least 10 likes. Let's see if we can get 10 likes. And if you're watching this race on demand here for the final few laps, make sure you hit that like button as well. I want to see 10 likes. It doesn't have to be tonight, but if it's not by 10 likes by Wednesday, I'll be disappointed. Be disappointed in you. King Godwin, or Goodwin, excuse me, hitting the like button. Thank you very much for that, Ken. Hopefully we can have a good run to the checkered flag here in just a little bit, Bob.
Yeah, definitely green-white checkered, number one of 3 possible green-white checkers. And, this is going to be wild. We've seen cautions breed cautions all race long. But when we do go green, things are clean, things are racy, and man, this is just going to be some fun, the fun closing laps for sure.
Yeah, definitely the first portion of the race, when we had all that green flag running, awesome stuff. Some of the best racing I've seen all season long here. But you and I know, Bob, as the lap count winds down, the action heats up, the how close the drivers race to one another, that also creeps up. And that's probably why we had all this contact. I mean, we also have a lot of drivers on older tires. I mean, we just saw that mistake there made by the number 28 machine, who's been lightning quick here tonight. That's probably due to the fact that their tires are starting to get a little bit old at this point, You start to lose that rear end grip, and it's very easy for the car to just snap around on you. But we'll see if the pace car lights are extinguished. Yes, indeed they are. So we'll have the first attempt at a green-white checker here coming up. How many green-white checkers are we going to have, folks? 1, 2, 3? I want to hear your thoughts. We're at least going to have 1. So if you say none, well, that's not correct. We know the answer is 1 or more. We can't have 4 or more than 4. So 1, 2, or 3. I want to hear it in the chat. Pace car lights are off here, Bob.
Yeah, and this is going to be a big opportunity here for the 21 of Nick Cohan. Can he get on the loud pedal at the same time of the 27 and anticipate? The answer looks like no. The 27 has a huge jump, and looks like this time the 13 of Lorello didn't quite get going as well. He's got the 117 of Cole on his outside, and the 13 had to check up there as the field heads off into turn number 3.
Yeah, there was contact between the 117 and number 13. Number 1 machine's going around Jason Crossius, and the leaders were on the last lap. And so we will not have a caution flag. Meanwhile, these leaders are coming around to see the carnage that's ensuing on the front stretch. Anthony DeBarro drifts up the racetrack a little bit. No one able to get around the 27 machine. Dominating performance to pick up his first career total nonstop racing victory in his first start here tonight. And Bob, the ray gun comes out once again, that time on the last lap, picking up your reigning series champion, the number 1 machine.
Man, just what a fantastic race, but a tough break. I feel bad for any other drivers that we've shown during the race, because there have been so many wrecks that we've just either shown or talked about with a driver getting turned around or wrecking, but just a phenomenal job. Anthony DeBarro, domination from the get-go. Qualified 7th, wound up getting the win, and a good battle and a great race overall.
Yeah, absolutely. Anthony DeBarro, man, was that Chambrone there coming through? I'm not sure, but I'll tell you what, Anthony DeBarro Burning it down here on the front stretch, showing them how it's done out there on the racetrack and in victory lane in the DeBarro Sliders 27 machine. Definitely sliding around the racetrack. And think about it, Bob. Think about that long slide that number 27 machine had there in the first 30 laps of the race. Could have just saved his entire race in that one moment, as that is a spectacular burnout. Just hitting the inside wall just to make sure it's legal. Make sure it passes.
Yeah, exactly. You got to make sure the car passes inspection. You just got to, tap it in line so the toe's all proper. But, just really a dominating race. And like you said, Peter, that spin could have been the end of his race, and we could have seen someone completely different heading off to victory lane here.
Absolutely. So definitely going to be a very fun night for that 27 machine, as he is going to be out there on the racetrack and continues to burn it down, even on the inside racetrack here tonight. But let's see if we can dial up some post-race interviews for all you folks here tonight, as we will dial them up one at a time. And let's see if we can start with our third place finisher here tonight, Bob, driver of the 117 machine. Why don't you take it away with Chad Cole, Bob?
And now with Chad Cole, Bob Giaquinto up here in the 3-Wide TV booth. Chad, you got a copy?
Yeah, we got you.
Well, Chad, great race out there, a very strong one for you. Started P23 and just kind of slowly and quietly worked your way up through the field as the race went on. Just tell me about your race.
Yeah, being the new face in here, me and a couple of guys kind of decided to branch out from a different league to do something a little different, and kind of decided Xfinity was what we wanted to do. So pretty apprehensive about coming into a league that's in the middle of a chase, because I've been on the flip side of the coin where I've been in the chase and new guys have come into the league and have been wrecked, and it's not too good to do that. So just kind of trying to be pretty tiptoeing around guys and be patient, log some laps, and try to get there at the end. I didn't really expect to be there, but we got up to third, and it was a pretty good run. We got into a couple incidents, but for the most part, it was a pretty clean race.
Yeah, it looked like a pretty clean race on our end of things, just kind of watching you go through. Had a little incident with the 17 of Ben Izinga, just, a couple of guys getting in there at the, same place at the same time. But otherwise, a really strong race overall. What were the tires like out there? I know, obviously, having two sets of tires in the pits is a little bit tough to do 150 laps with. But how were the tires out there, especially towards the end of the runs?
It was pushing a little bit. The gearing was a bit off, but so a lot of guys, I think mostly everyone's probably using third gear and pretty much pegging the rev limiter at the end of the straightaway. So even then, using in third gear, the right front was wearing out just a bit. So as much as you need to save a little bit and also be aggressive at the same time, if that makes sense. It's kind of a slippery slope there, catch 22, and trying to be fast and also save your right front, because it was tight out there. But I think the caution, I've pitted about halfway or so, and that worked out, and made the most of it.
Well, Chad, looking forward to next week's race, going over to Atlanta. What are your thoughts on the track?
I'm really excited about Atlanta. Yeah, a side note on Nashville. I think this track came out a couple builds ago, but this is actually the first time I ever raced it. I actually don't do a whole lot of racing myself. Maybe a couple times a month lately is about all I can stand because league drama and whatnot. But Atlanta is one of my favorites. I love the character. I feel like mile and a halves and 2 miles intermediates are kind of more my suit than these short tracks. So I'm looking forward to that one. Hopefully I can make it.
Awesome. Well, Chad, before we let you go, do you have any shout outs you want to give us?
Yeah, I got to give a shout out to Thornton Graphix for sponsoring the Monday Grand National Series. And also I got to give a shout out to Luke, who's the driver of the 48's car, Cat. I neglected to give him a shout out a couple weeks ago, or no, it was even longer than that even. But got to give Luke a shout out. He's a big boy, and got to give him a good ride tonight.
Awesome. Well, Chad, third place in your first race here at Thornton Graphix Cup. Congratulations, and looking forward to seeing you out on the track next week at Atlanta.
Appreciate it, guys.
All right, well, that's going to do it for our third place interview with the 117 machine of Chad Cole. Let's see if we can bring Nick Cohan up here into the 3-wide TV booth. Nick, you got a copy?
Yeah, gotcha.
Well, I'll tell you what, kind of your second race here in the Total Nonstop Racing League. Last week, doing kind of the unofficial race, but here tonight, having a stellar run here at Nashville Fairgrounds. It wasn't exactly where you wanted to start the night down in 12th, but you methodically made your way up to second right there at the end of the night. Tell us how it was from your perspective.
Yeah, second race. Finished second last week by only a couple feet and finished second this week again. But no, I had a lot of fun. We felt pretty slow in practice. I didn't really feel that good, especially in the long run. I couldn't get comfortable. 1 minute I felt loose, 1 minute I felt tight. Couldn't get the settings right, and screwed up qualifying. And short track racing, you just got to be patient. And just took my time. I know there's a lot of playoff guys here, and I don't want to screw anything up with those guys out here. So yeah, just took my time. Tried to save my tires as best I could, stay out of trouble. And track position was huge. It's so hard to pass. There's really, you can get to the inside and pass somebody, but you really need the outside lane, whoever's on the outside, to screw up a little bit so you can get that run off the corner. But just really hard to pass, and track position was really, really key tonight. We got really lucky on that long run there. We were really close on fuel. Almost had to pit on green flag, so got little lucky there. But just stayed out of trouble and kept the CG Automotive up front. And second place, we'll take it, but hopefully it will turn out to a win here soon.
Well, definitely a great run for you here tonight. Next week, of course, we go to the 1.5 mile Atlanta Motor Speedway. It's going to be quite a bit faster than what we saw out there tonight. What are your thoughts about going to Atlanta Motor Speedway, especially considering the recent iRacing updates that they made to Atlanta?
Oh, I can't wait. Atlanta's one of my favorite tracks, and I'll be honest with you, I haven't driven the Xfinity car in probably almost 2 years. I haven't driven it since it was the Camry. It's my first time in the Supra these past 2 weeks, and I know they drive pretty fun on the 1.5, so I'm really looking forward to Atlanta. Bumping around, sliding around. Hopefully the top groove works pretty good, because I like running the top. So hopefully we can get this CG Automotive Toyota Supra up front and stay up front, and it'll be a tough battle. These guys are really fast here at TNR, and thank all the admins for having us here. It's been a lot of fun, and it's fun racing with a bunch of new guys here, and everybody's been pretty respectful so far. And of course, it's always fun racing with your teammates up front. So Atlanta should be fun. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Definitely going to be a fun one right here next week on 3-Wide TV. Same time, same place, 8:30 Eastern. Before we let you go, Nick, any shout-outs?
Yeah, just shout out to all my teammates at Disney Motorsports. Joey Gattina, CJ Automotive. Sorry, my dog's going nuts here. Perk Coffee, TNR for putting on this great league, and you guys for putting on this good broadcast.
All right. Well, Nick, we'll see you out there at Atlanta Motor Speedway. You said you're looking forward to it. Well, I'm looking forward to it as well. I'm sure a lot of people in the chat are as well. Best of luck at the 1.5 mile next week.
Yep. Thanks, guys. Hopefully we put on a good show for you.
All right. Well, folks, that's going to do it for our second place interview. And I believe that Bob Giaquinto's caught up with tonight's race winner, Anthony DeBarro.
I do. Anthony DeBarro, Bob Giaquinto up here in the 3-Wide TV booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, how you guys doing tonight?
Doing great. Well, Anthony, a fantastic race for you. Pretty much dominated from just after the stage break all the way up until the end of the race. Had a bit of an excursion there in the beginning of the race where we had just a huge slide, able to save it, and just kind of take me through what was going through your mind at that point.
First off, I didn't want to any of the guys racing for the championship days, so that's why I was trying to stay off of I forget which car it was, but it was one of the chase guys, and I got loose going in there, and I don't know how I saved it or didn't overcorrect back into the wall. I just guess I just got pretty lucky there, and just able to straighten her out, and we had a good car tonight. I don't know what it was. There was a couple different ways you could drive it: fourth gear, third gear, fourth to third. It was just the way the ratios worked out. I was in third gear majority of the race. It just seemed like with was the best for my car, and I was able to hug the bottom and roll speed to there. And I think that's where I was making time on people.
Yeah, and it was fun watching everyone just kind of be able to race side by side and have that action there and just kind of picking the different lines, especially as the run went on. Tell me about the restarts, because you really seemed like you were shot out of a cannon for pretty much each and every restart there. You had the 21 beside you, and by the time you're on the backstretch, you already had probably a good 3-4 car length lead.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to get a jump as a leader and get out the front, especially the way second gear was. There was not a lot of wheel spin, so you could really just mat it. As soon as you take off, you're going. So the guy on the outside really couldn't react, and I was just able to get lucky and get out front and not let him stay to my outside. Because I think if he could have stayed on my door, he could have probably gave me a good battle there, because it was hard when she got pinched down on the bottom to complete a pass. That was for sure.
Well, taking a look to next week, racing at Atlanta, 1.5 mile speedway. What are your thoughts on heading out to Hotlanta?
I'm excited. I know a couple weeks ago here, iRacing updated the upper lane here, so I think you're actually able to use all the lanes of the racetrack. So I think it should be an excellent race. I mean, I haven't tested the car or anything, so we'll see how the setup is, but I think with that, I remember driving the Cup car about a month ago here, and it was an awesome race. Able to run any lane on the track, up against the wall, even in 3 and 4. So I think we should put on a good show, and hopefully we have one of those Atlanta finishes for you guys up there in the booth.
Absolutely. And Anthony, before we let you go, do you have any shout-outs for us?
I thank the guys at Total Nonstop Racing here for having us join your league, especially going into the playoffs here. And it's been fun so far, and I like to thank the guys at Dizzy Motorsports, Nick, Shane, Tim, Josh, and Nick Chambrone. We all work pretty tight together and have some fun in Discord here.
Awesome. Well, Anthony, congratulations on the win, and looking forward to seeing you out there on the track next week at Atlanta.
Thank you, guys.
All right, well, folks, that's going to do it for our race winning interview. What a night here to kick off the Thornton Graphix chase for the Cup. Your top 3 drivers, none of them here tonight, Bob, chase drivers. That's definitely something I wasn't expecting going into tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. A little surprising there, having one of the top 3 or the podium finishers not as chase drivers. You'll have to go down to 4th place for James Lorello to see one of our chase drivers, and I'm a little bit surprised, and I'm interested to see how that's going to turn out next week, especially now with only 4 races left to go in the season.
Yeah, so you can see right there on your screen here, folks, Anthony DeBarro taking home the win, Nick Cohan in 2nd, Chad Cole in 3rd. 4th is James Arello, like you mentioned, the first of our championship drivers, Josh Gerlach, there finishing in 5th in the number 71 machine. But look at who finished 6th here tonight. That is Tristan Maher, got himself into the chase for the Thornton Graphix Cup with a win 2 weeks ago in the last chance qualifier race that was at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And there he was, up there inside the top 6, trying to do a Cinderella story here and pick up the championship. Mike Floppy Tallier coming home 7th, Shane Ewing coming home in 8th, Chris Cabot, and Bill Edwards rounding out your top 10 there, Bob.
In 11th, one of the chase drivers, Stephen Kegman. Philip Scott, barring wheel issues, able to race his way up into 12th. David Harvey, 13th. Don Runkle Jr. in 14th. Garrett Gleason, 15th. Jason Freeman, another one of our chase drivers, just kind of snake-bitten throughout this race. He'll finish in 16th. Spencer Tart, 17th, another chase driver. And yet another chase driver, Jason Gracias, rounding out the top 18. In 19th, the 76 machine of Gail Brooks. And in 20, the 28 of Timothy Johnston, who started on pole, but just kind of had things go from bad to worse out there for him.
Yeah, Nick Chambrone coming home in 21st, Ben Izenga 22nd, Tony Lucarelli, who was one of our Shibby Shack Dash for Cash drivers, and Baba. It was Nick Chambrone, Tony Lucarelli, and who was the other driver who was in
71 of Josh Gerlach?
All right, so it looks like the number 71 of Gerlach will be taking home the Shibby Shack Dash for cash here tonight. Ben Izenga comes home 27 with Lucarelli 23rd. Chris Darling 24th. Tough night for him. Andrew Himmelman also tough night for him. So those are two chase drivers finishing 24th and 25th here tonight. I know Himmelman had some internet connection issues. Jason Shue, Johnny Williams, and Brian Rubel down there in 28th. He did not start here tonight as he was the out of race admin here tonight at the Nashville Fairgrounds. But I gotta say, Bob, it's going to be really interesting to see what we have going on next week. We'll try and set the championship table for all you guys back at home so you can figure out which of these drivers is in with a chance at walking away with the Thornton Graphix Cup. Big shout out to them, as well as Dunn Raceway Park in Old Ford, Pennsylvania. Indoor off road RC racing. Yeah, sounds like an oxymoron, but it isn't. It's an indoor RC track with all the jumps and corners and all the fixins that you have at those RC tracks. Really, really cool. Make sure you check them out if you're located in the northeast portion of the United States, as well as Master Millwright, who are sponsoring the Big Block Series here that the Total Nonstop Racing League puts together. If you want to sling some mud, well, go check out the Big Block Series that this league puts on. Very, very cool. It's a very popular league, Bob, getting a lot of people out there onto dirt. A lot of drivers for the first time getting their feet wet on the dirt and enjoying every single minute of it. Bob, any final thoughts here tonight?
Well, just a fun race overall. A lot of battles and a lot of action throughout the field. Really tight, clean racing for the most part as well. And I'm just looking forward to Atlanta next week.
I am as well. Make sure you tune in for that one right here on 3Y TV, 8:30 Eastern Time from Atlanta Motor Speedway, just outside of Atlanta, Georgia. Yeah, it's not quite in Atlanta, but definitely going to be a fun one for round 2 of the Thornton Graphix Chase. Big shout out to our friends over at SimTV for the camera angles that we bring you each and every week here on 3Y TV. But for myself, Peter Short, and Bob Giaquinto, everyone, have a good night, stay safe, and we shall see ya!